بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Alhamdulillah, welcome back to another lesson of searching for words in the Handsware Dictionary. Inshallah, today we will be covering the Roman numerals. So what does exactly the Roman numerals signify in the Handsware Dictionary? So first number we have is number 2. So you can see here the number 2. So let's just shine the laser on the inshallah. So you can see the number 2 here in Roman numerals. The reason why we don't have 1 is because the anything before number 2 is thulathi mujarrad, and that we've dealt with the last lesson, which was the AIU. You could say the reference through AIU. A is fa'ala yaf'alu, and I was fa'ala yaf'ilu, and you was fa'ala yaf'ulu. The fa'ala can change. It could be fa'ala, fa'ula, fa'ila, etc. But the A was yaf'alu, the U was yaf'ulu, and the I was yaf'ilu. So anything before number 2 is thulathi mujarrad, and that was transliterated as well. Now number 2 will signify this verb pattern in the Handswear. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'il. So what Handswear expects you to know is when you see number 2 under verbs, it expects you to conjugate the verb appropriately under this pattern here. So let's look at an example. So here we have alima. Alima A. So this is going to be alima ya'lamu. And this is the masdar we have here, ilman. And notice here we have apostrophe here to signify ain, ilman. And it means to know. Okay? And if we carry on further down, we see this 2 here. Now this 2 means that if he comes under this scale now, allama yu'allimu ta'lim, it means to teach. To teach. So what Hansway will do is he'll give you the number 2 and he expects you to conjugate it to the appropriate pattern, what it signifies. So 2 in Hansway signifies this verb pattern. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'il. So under Ain Lam Mim, we have number 2. That means number 2 means that the verb pattern will be Allama yu'allimu ta'lim, and it will mean to teach. Another example, for example, you're looking for the under Jim or Ra and Ba. Okay? So you have Jarraba, yujarribu, tajribatan, etc. So Allaqa, yu'alliqu, ta'liqan. So if you find it looking under Ain Lam and Qaf and you see the number 2, that will signify bab taf'il. So those who are acquainted with sarf, number 2 equals bab taf'il in the Hansware dictionary. So we got the format here now. So Ain Lam Mim number 2 signifies allama yu'allimu ta'liman. Okay, and we got an example from the Quran. Allama al-insana ma lam ya'lam. He taught man what he did not know. So notice here we got even ya'lamu here as well. So alima ya'lamu, but when it's number 2, it actually signifies bab taf'il. Allama yu'allimu ta'lim. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'il. Everyone on the same page? Everyone understand what number 2 signifies in the Hansware dictionary? It signifies bab taf'il. Everyone clear with that? Everyone understand? Okay. Yes? Okay. So we're going to go all the way to number 10, inshallah. So number 3 is bab mufa'ala. So when we see 3, it's this pattern here. Fa'ala yufa'ilu mufa'alatan. Number 3. So let's look at here. We got jadala yajdulu. So you jadala yajdulu. So this is thulathi mujarrad, the triliteral verb. Then we got I. It can even be jadala yajdilu, and the masdar is jadlan. It means to twist tight, tighten, stretch, etc. Now we've already done number 2, okay, which was فعل يفعل تفعيل. Okay, so Jim Dal Lam number 2, which is the previous one we just covered, would be Jaddala yujaddilu tajdil. Tajdilan, it means to plait. Okay, but here we're looking at number 3. Number 3 here signifies mufa'ala. So this will be, how would this go? Jadala yujadilu mujadalatan. And that will mean to quarrel, to bicker with someone, to argue. Okay, and notice here it's got the round ha, which means it's used with intellectual beings. Okay, so to argue with someone. Whereas here at the top, to plait, you can't plait someone. It's a round butterfly ha, sorry, here, something. So notice this, we mentioned this last time as well, the difference between the round ha and the butterfly ha. The butterfly ha is used with objects or irrational entities, and the round ha is used with rational entities like human beings, someone. That's why you'll see a lot of times it'll have the round ha and it'll say S dot O dot means someone, and then it'll have the butterfly ha and it'll say S dot TH dot means something. Okay, so Hansworth expects you to see number 3 and be able to conjugate this verb pattern if you want to use it in the sentence. And number 3 will be جادل يجادل مجادلة. Okay, and we've got an example here. يجادلونك في الحق بعدما تبين. They will quarrel with you and argue with you in regards to the truth after it has become clear. I mean, the truth has become clear. So يجادلونك, جادل يجادل. And notice it's used with a direct object here, the kaf. Okay? Everyone okay with number 3? Because you have to memorize 2 till 10. Because afterwards there's a good exercise, inshallah, to test you how well you know what 2 signifies, what 3 signifies. So as we're going along, memorize this. 2 is فعل يفعل تفعيل. 3 is فاعل يفاعل مفاعلة. Example جادل يجادل مجادلة. So let's move on to number 4. So after 3 comes 4. أفعل يفعل إفعالا. So 4 in Hansworth signifies the verb pattern أفعل يفعل إفعالا. Okay, so bab if'al, what we know as. Okay, so here we have ta, ain, and mim. Okay, so ta'ima, a means ta'ima yat'amu, and this is ta'man. One thing I want to point out here, if there was to be another a, then it'll be ta'aman. But because there's just one a and then the apostrophe here, that means it's an abrupt sound on the ain. So there's no fatha on the ain. Ta'man. Okay. Had there been, for argument's sake, or I can't think of a verb now, but had there been another a, that will signify that actually there's a fatha. Okay, so it's not abrupt. Ta'aman, not ta'man. Okay, but we're not talking about ta'ima here. We're talking about number 4. Okay. Apologies for that. Just been a bit under the weather. So number 4 here. أطعم يطعم إطعاما. So Hansworth expects you now to be able to conjugate طعم by looking at number 4 to this pattern here. أطعم يطعم إطعاما. So 4 signifies bab if'al. And notice here it means to feed. Now there's 2 has. That means this فعل is متعدي إلى مفعولين. It's transitive to 2 مفعول بهs because it means to feed someone something. Okay, so the round ha means someone and the butterfly ha means something. So it's used, it's muta'addi ila maf'ulain. So that's another thing to understand here as well. So whenever you see like a 2 has together, most probably that verb is transitive to two maf'uls. So certain verbs in Arabic we see that they require 2 maf'uls. Af'al al-qulub, obviously you cover that in Nahu, etc. Sometimes it can go up to is 2, and you have those verbs which given the meaning of informing, they can even go up to what? 3 as well. Okay, so notice here number 4, أفعل يفعل إفعالا. So this is going to be أطعم يطعم إطعاما. Had it been number 2, it means to vaccinate someone with something. So that'll be طعم يطعم تطعيما. So number 2 would be باب تفعيل. But we are dealing with number 4 here. Okay, and the example is والذي هو يطعمني. He is the one who feeds me. Okay, so notice here يطعمني. But here obviously the مفعول به أول is sufficed with one مفعول به because he is the one who feeds me. Allah didn't mention the second مفعول به because he feeds us with so many things. Okay, sometimes the maf'ul can be left out for the purpose of ta'meen, to keep something general. Meaning he feeds us so many things, it don't need to be listed or labeled, etc. Like in the Quran, another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Wallahu yad'u ila daris salam. And Allah is the one who invites to the house of peace. So there, Wallahu yad'u, who does Allah invite? It's not mentioned. The maf'ul bihi has been mahzuf, been made, has been omitted. Wallahu yad'u jami'a ibadihi. Allah invites all of his servants ila daris salam. So the maf'ul bihi there has been left, and the reason is to keep the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala general. That on Yawm al-Qiyamah, no one can say, I didn't get an invite. Okay? So if somebody doesn't get invited to someone's special occasion, okay, and then, people become upset. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, open invitation. Wallahu yad'u ila daris salam. So no one has no excuse to say Allah didn't invite anybody. Okay, so here we have one maf'ul bihi mentioned, and a reason mention the reason why, to keep things general. Okay, in the hands where we also have 5. So this is verb pattern 5. When we see 5 in the Handsworth dictionary, it signifies this scale of a verb. تفعل يتفعل تفعلا. So let's repeat. تفعل يتفعل تفعلا. Okay. So let's look at an example. Here we have فطر. فطا and ra. فطر you means فطر يفطر. And that's the masdar فطرا, to split. So to split something. So notice here the butterfly has signifies irrational entities, so not human beings. So to split something. Okay. But here we're not interested in fatara yafturu. We're interested in the number 5 here. So to be split, to be cleft, okay, to be split. So that will, hands raised, expecting you to see that number 5 under fata and ra, and be able to conjugate and make it tafattara yatafattaru tafatturan. Okay, tafattara yatafattaru tafatturan. So that will, number 5 is this verb pattern. Those who are acquainted with the surf is bab tafa'ul. So let's look at an example. Well, this is what it ends up becoming. Tafattara yatafattaru tafatturan. And tafattara, obviously, we're saying, it's split. So it's past tense. Yatafattaru is splitting. Tafatturan, okay, to split, to be split. Okay, it's lazim. Okay. So example here we have is تكاد السماوات يتفطرن. So Quranic verse. So the heavens are about to split. So we can see here يتفطرن. Okay, and that is obviously the pattern of يفعلن جمع مؤنث غائب, because obviously السماوات is feminine plural. So يتفطرن. So far, remember, we have covered number 2 equals فعل يفعل تفعيل. Number 3 was فاعل يفاعل مفاعلة. Number 4 was أفعل يفعل إفعالا. Number 5, which is this one now, تفعل يتفعل تفعلا. Now number 6, which verb pattern does number 6 represent? It represents the pattern تفاعل يتفاعل تفاعلا. So تفاعل يتفاعل تفاعلا. So if you want to say, okay, تفاعل يتفاعل تفاعلا. So try to get this onto your tongue, okay? And once you have these, like you could say, the Roman numerals and which verb pattern it signifies, it becomes very easy, okay? So we have here waw, ain, and dal. So when we see the normal root letters, and in the past tense verb there are three letters, wa'ada ya'idu. Wa'dan, it means to make a promise, to give one's word. Okay. Now notice here, remember what I said to you before as well. Wa'ada. Whenever you see W-A with apostrophe and another A, that means there's a fatha on that word. Wa'ada. Wa'ada ya'idu. And the mustard, look here. Wa'dan. You're not saying wa'adan. Had there been an A, which there isn't in this case, it would have been wa'adan, but it's not. Okay? So how would you read the mustard here? Wa'dan. And it means to make a promise. But we're not dealing with wa'ada ya'idu. Okay? We are looking at number 6. So number 6 is right down here. So we can see here V1, which is Roman numerals, is number 6. It means to make an appointment, to agree upon a time. So what this will mean now is that this verb pattern, for it to come in the meaning of to make an appointment, would be tawa'ada yatawa'adu tawa'udan. So repeat, tawa'ada yatawa'adu tawa'udan. And that will mean to make an appointment or to agree upon a time with one another. Okay? So remember number 6, tafa'ala yatafa'alu tafa'ulan. And here we have it under waw, ain, and dal. That would be tawa'ada yatawa'adu tawa'udan. Tawa'ada is the past tense verb, fi'lun madin. Yatawa'adu is fi'lun mudari. And tawa'udan is the masdar, which means to agree upon a time. And let's look at how does this play around. How does this play out as an example? Tawa'ada al-asdiqa'u. Okay, the try to move that a bit up. Okay. تواعد الأصدقاء على الصدق والوفاء. So the friends agreed upon truthfulness and fidelity. Okay. Trustworthiness. Okay. What does that mean? What is تواعد? وعد بعضهم بعضا. And they made a promise to each other upon على الصدق والوفاء. So it's just an example how it's used. Another example is تواعد اللقاء. Okay, صباحا. Those two men agreed to meet in the morning. أي حدد موعدا, i.e. they fixed a time. حدد يحدد apologies. حدد يحدد تحديدا means to fix a time. So تواعد means حدد موعدا. They agreed and fixed a time. So bottom line is number 6 is تفاعل يتفاعل تفاعلا, and under waw, ain, and dal is number 6 would read out to be تواعد يتواعد تواعدا. Okay, so just keep these verb patterns in mind because we are going to come across a little exercise which will test you in how well do you remember 2 till 10. Okay, so let's move on to our next one. Number 7 now is infa'ala yanfa'ilu infi'alan. So number 7 in handswear signifies the verb pattern bab infi'al, the scale infi'al. Infa'ala yanfa'ilu infi'alan. So here we have fatama I means to wean someone, an infant, meaning from milk to solids, etc. Okay, so that's the normal meaning of the thulathi mujarrad. Fatama yaftimu. And notice here, it's got a round ha, means someone, and obviously it'll be a child, it'll be an infant. Okay, and if it's in relation to animals, because obviously those who look after animals, they help wean animals as well. Okay, now we can see here number 7. This is number 7 in Roman numerals, and it means to be weaned or to abstain. This is one thing I'm going to indicate to here. every verb has a unique way it's used in the Arabic language. So sometimes when you see certain prepositions, it actually changes the meaning of the verb. Okay, we'll come across a lot of examples later on, but I just want to every lesson I just want to indicate something that's going to come after. So when we do come to it, you've got a bit of head start in understanding what's going to come. So when you have verbs, okay, depending on what type of words they are surrounded by, it can change the meaning of that word. Okay, so if you just see, for example, this word now, fatama, let's first indicate what's it indicated to. Number 7 would be in fatama yanfatimu infitaman. So Hanswe expects you to see this number 7 under fa, ta, and mim and be able to conjugate the verb pattern in fatama yanfatimu infitaman. Okay, and like I just said to you, it depends how the word is used. So to be weaned, if you look at the bottom one here, in fatama tiflu. What does that mean? In qata'ani rada, meaning the child has moved off, okay, and has stopped, being breastfed and suckling. Okay, so here it's just used with the child to be weaned. But when it's used with an, it means to refrain from something. So in fatama ani shay, meaning he in sarafa anhu, he refrained from that thing. Okay, so it can give the meaning of abstaining, and it could also give the meaning of to be weaned. How would we know which meaning is found in which circumstance? The an is giving it away here. An. Okay, so keep that in mind. Verbs, they have their surface meaning, but that does not mean every single time that verb will always hold the same meaning. You have to always look around what has come around that verb. How has it been used? What's the subject of that verb? Okay, that sometimes plays a role as well. Okay, number 8. Number 8 in the Hansware is ifta'ala yafta'ilu ifti'alan. So if you want to repeat that, ifta'ala yafta'ilu ifti'alan. Okay, so if we look at this, ba, dal, and ain. Bada'a, a means bada'a yabda'u. And the master is bad'an. And notice there's not another A, so it won't be bada'an, it'll be bad'an. Remember what I told you about the A? That will signify that there's actually a fatha. No, bad'an. And it means introduce, to originate, start, to do for the first time something. Okay? Bada'tu dars or something like that, for example. Okay? We'll come across some examples anyway. The point here we're trying to make here is we're looking at number 8 here. Okay, so number 8 is here. So V, and then we got the the three eyes, if you want to call them. Okay, in Roman numerals. Okay, to invent. Okay, so to invent something. So bada'a number 8 will signify ibtada'a yabtadi'u ibtida'an. So ibtada'a yabtadi'u ibtida'an. So number 8 is bab ifti'al, in other words. Okay, so we're coming closer. Let's have another quick recap. Number 2 was bab taf'il. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'il. Number 3 was bab mufa'ala. Fa'ala yufa'ilu mufa'alatan. Number 4 was if'al. Af'ala yuf'ilu if'alan. Number 5 was tafa'ul. So tafa'ala yatafa'alu tafa'ulan. And who can remember number 6? Anybody remember number 6? Number 6 was tafa'ala yatafa'alu tafa'ulan. And number 7 was, which we just done before this, was infa'ala yanfa'ilu infi'alan. And this is number 8, ifta'ala yafta'ilu ifti'alan. So let's see how this is used as an example. ابتدع الطب أسلوبا جديدا في تشخيص الأمراض. So medical scientists have introduced a new way. أسلوبا means a way, جديدا means new. في تشخيص الأمراض, in diagnosing illnesses. The تشخيص means diagnosis. Okay, so medical science has introduced a new way in diagnosing illnesses. Okay, so ابتدع. Okay, Or another example is ابتدع الرسامون طرائق جديدة في الرسم. Okay, so those who are artists have introduced new ways in the drawings. Okay, drawing. Okay, so ابتدع يبتدئ ابتداءً. Next one we have is number 9. افعل يفعل إفعلالا. So if you see a word, so let's just put the word up here. Ha, mim, and ra. Okay, so notice here, ha, mim, and ra, it says number 2. Number 2 will mean hammara yuhammilu tahmir, because that's taf'il, to redden, to color or dye something in red. Okay, to roast. Okay, because normally when you cook something, etc., it turns red, sometimes in color, etc. Okay, so here that's not the verb we're looking at. We are looking at here number 9. So remember x equals 10. So if the I comes before the x, that's 9. Okay, so just remember that. Like in 5 was the I before the V. Okay, was 5. And if the I comes after, then that was what? 6 after the V. So here we got the I before the X. So that's basically number 9. So that will signify which verb pattern? إحمر يحمر إحمرارا. إحمر يحمر إحمرارا. So 9 signifies the verb pattern if إلال إحمرار. Okay, so remember that. Okay, so let's look at an example. احمر الخبز في الفرن. The bread went red in the oven. Okay, obviously because it was getting cooked. احمر وجهه من شدة الغضب. His face turned red out of the severe anger. Okay, احمر وجهه or احمر البأس أي اشتد. Okay, the difficult, the hardship became worse. Okay, ihmarra, meaning red here means signifies ishtadda. Okay, because it's used metaphorically, it can be used, okay, like that. So here we have number 9. Okay, number 10, which is the last one, because Hansware dictionary only goes up to 10. So 2 till 10. Number 10 signifies istaf'ala yastaf'ilu istif'alan. So if you want to repeat that again, istaf'ala yastaf'ilu istif'alan. That is number 10. So we have here khalafa you. Khalafa you means to be a successor of someone. Okay, but we're not looking at khalafa you, khalafa yakhlufu. We are looking at this x here. So just be a bit careful. Sometimes you can miss the number 10 because you might think it's part of a word or something like that. So just keep your eyes open. The best way to remember number 10 is it's more or less towards the bottom, because Hansware dictionary, you will go through the triliteral verbs first. So thulathi mujarrad, so the AIU, then you'll move on to 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 9, and then 10. And sometimes you don't even have all the numbers because you don't have verb patterns from all abwab for that particular verb. So remember that as well. So number 10 will most probably will be at the bottom when you see the verb section. And remember, when you see wherever you see Roman numerals, you are in the verb section. So we've done nouns. We are actually working on focusing on the verbs. Okay. So what does X mean here with kha lam fa? It would be istakhlafa yastakhlifu istikhlafan. So it means to appoint as a successor. Okay, to appoint as successor. So istakhlafa yastakhlifu istikhlafan. So Hansware is expecting you when you see kha lam fa and then x. This is the meaning of that. That means it's this verb pattern here. From bab istif'al, istakhlafa yastakhlifu istikhlafan. So we have here istakhlafa means ja'alahu khalifatan. He made him a successor. So for example, asa rabbukum ay yuhlika aduwakum. Hopefully your Lord will destroy their enemy, وَيَسْتَخْلِفَكُمْ, and he will make you as successors in the land. Okay, And we sincerely hope Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants victory to the Ummah at large, especially in Palestine. عسى ربكم أن يهلك عدوكم ويستخلفكم في الأرض فينظر كيف تعملون. So here we got istakhlafa, yastakhlifu, istikhlafan. So that is finished. Okay. Now I'll give you about a minute whilst I just read through all of them again. Any chance of having 2 and 5 again, just a few seconds on each. Okay. No, there's no chance. Okay. I have to put you under pressure on the spot. It's okay. Number 2, okay, is fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'il. Because now the next part, I'm going to test you lot, see how well you know it. Okay. And number 5 was tafa'ala yatafa'alu tafa'ulan. Okay, so I will go through all of them, and then this is your time to try to figure out which one it is. In the dashboard, in um, your student portal, you've got a dashboard. Those who registered do have a dashboard. You can catch up with previous lessons. That was a benefit of registering. You can anytime go back, and you've also got resources available on your dashboard. On in your dashboard, you've got all the Roman numerals. Okay, so even for next week or even future, whenever you need to, you can just download that from your portal, or you can take a screenshot, have it on your phone as a shortcut, etc. So number 2, I'll go through again. Hopefully I remember. Number 2 is fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'il. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'il. Number 3 is fa'ala yufa'ilu mufa'alatan. Again, fa'ala yufa'ilu mufa'alatan. Number 4 is af'ala yuf'ilu if'alan. Again, number 4, af'ala yuf'ilu if'alan. Number 5 is tafa'ala yatafa'alu tafa'ulan. Again, tafa'ala yatafa'alu tafa'ulan. And number 6 is tafa'ala yatafa'alu tafa'ulan. So number 6, tafa'ala yatafa'alu tafa'ulan. Number 7, infa'ala yanfa'ilu infi'alan. Again, infa'ala yanfa'ilu infi'alan. Number 8 is ifta'ala yafta'ilu ifti'alan. Again, ifta'ala yafta'ilu ifti'alan. Number 9 is if'alla yaf'allu if'ilalan. If'alla yaf'allu if'ilalan. And number 10, which is the last one, is istaf'ala yastaf'ilu istif'alan. Again, istaf'ala yastaf'ilu istif'alan. So that is 2 till 10. Now I'm going to take the back seat, okay, and let's put you lot under some kind of intense pressure. Okay. So we have here Ain, Lam, and Jim. Okay. So which verb pattern is this? So you will have to, if you've got your Arabic keyboard, use your Arabic, keyboard. If you don't, you can transliterate it. It's not a problem. It's not the end of the world. So Ain, Lam, Jim, number 3. Put in the chat which verb pattern is this. So I want you to put the Madi, Mudare, and the Masdar, please. So we got Ain, Lam, Jim, number 3. It means to treat someone, meaning a patient, or you can treat a disease like coronavirus. We still don't know how did that disappear. Okay. Ain, Lam, and Jim. Okay, so let's see. Remember, the key thing is it's number 3. Okay, so I want you to tell me the Madi, the Mudari, and the Masdar. Because Hanzwa expects you to see Ain, Lam, and Jim and conjugate that accordingly when you see number 3 in Roman numerals. So I'll let you off the hook. You don't need to say number 6, and you don't need to say number 8. It's just the one that's highlighted. Don't want to put too much pressure. MashaAllah, you've got it, but a bit of spelling mistake, but that's not a problem. It's probably when you're typing up. It's alaja yu'aliju mu'alajatan. Very good. Okay. So alaja yu'aliju mu'alajatan. Okay. So number three, Ain Lam Jim is alaja yu'aliju mu'alajatan. And let's look at an example. عالج الطبيب المريض أي داواه, meaning the doctor treated the patient. Okay, أي داواه, meaning he dealt with him and treated him. Okay, so everyone okay with this one? Okay, so number three, عالج يعالج معالجة, and we have just an example as well how it's used in a sentence. Okay, let's move on to our next one. We have here, look, if you look, qaf, dal, and ra, and then we got number two here. So we're looking at the number two here, qaf, dal, and ra. What is the madi, what is the mudari, and what is the masdar? Remember what the verb pattern was? The clock is ticking away. Okay, so you're running out of time as well. Okay, time flies. This is literally what's happening. Time flying. اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر. Okay, what's number two? Qaf, dal, and ra. Come on. Number two, qaf, dal, and ra. Okay, we got qaddara, which is a good shout. The mudari, yuqaddiru taqdir. Very good. Okay, so qaddara. Okay, you might have to get used to, your keyboard on your phone or whatever you're using. Sometimes I think you have to keep one button hold to get the harakats. Okay, so you can even do it in English. It's not a problem. Okay, so this actually would signify qaddara yuqaddiru taqdir. So we got qadara yaqduru and qadara yaqdiru both. Okay, and remember we came across last time qadara I as well in, here, and it means we have here qadira yaqdaru as well. So quite a few things going on there. But here we're looking at qaddara yuqaddiru taqdir, and okay, it means to determine or to decree. Okay, so here we have an example. So قدر الله عليه المصائب أي حكم بها عليه. Allah decreed for him um, hardships. Okay, calamities or hardships. أي حكم بها عليه. Allah passed judgment for him with what? Hardships. Allah decreed for him or ordained for him hardships. Okay, so that's that one done. Okay, so we're doing okay. So we've got here ba, dal, and lam. Ba, dal, and lam. But notice here we've got an X here, the X at the bottom. So it's the last number from the Roman numeral. So that's a bit of a hint. There's other numbers as well. We got number two, which would be baddala yubaddilu. We got number three, which is badala yubadilu. And we got number four, which is abdala yubdilu. We got number five, which is tabaddala yatabaddalu. We got number six, which is tabadala yatabadalu. But we're on about number 10 here. So what's this one? Ba, dal, lam, number 10. Okay, so we got istabdala. Good. Okay. I'm assuming you know the mudari and you know the masdar as well. Okay. So istabdala yastabdilu istibdalan. So Hansware is just giving you the three, and the number 10 will be istabdala yastabdilu istibdalan. Okay. And example from the Quran, atastabdiluna alladhi huwa adna billadhi huwa khayr. Are you exchanging that which is inferior for that which is better? Meaning, obviously, the Banu Israel, they were given manna wa salwa, and they wanted to eat vegetables. Okay, so here we can see istabdala yastabdilu istibdalan. Okay, so we have the next one here, waw, ain, and dal, but we're looking at number 5 here. Okay, so number 5. So number 5 is saying here basically number 4 and 5 equals the same. Sorry, 4 equals 1. Okay, so 1 would be the thulathi mujarrad. Okay, but we're looking at number 5 here. Number 5. So somebody has put wa'ada tawa'ada. It can't be both. It has to be one. You're close, but you've put waw, ain, and dal, and then tawa'ada as well. So it has to be one of them. Yeah. So somebody has put tawa'ada. Okay, that's right. Tawa'ada yatawa'adu tawa'udan, and it means to threaten. Yeah, it's good. Okay. So we've got a few answers coming up now. Okay. Tawa'ada yatawa'adu tawa'udan, and an example, tawa'ada fulanan ay haddadahu wa khawwafahu bil uquba, meaning he threatened so and so. أي هدده. Tahdid means to threaten, or وخوفه, he frightened him, or he, frightened him of what? بالعقوبة, punishment. Okay, so a threat or punishment. Okay, so توعد فلانا. So it means to threaten. Okay. So next we have is Seen, Meme, and Ain, but number 8. Seen, Meme, and Ain, number 8. Seen, Meme, and Ain, number 8. To hear something, to listen closely to something, give one's ear to something, lend one's ear. So it can be used with ila or lam, ila or lam, or even a direct object as well, for rational and irrational. So butterfly ha is irrational entity, and the round ha is. So we got isma'a. No, it won't be isma'a. Istama'a. Yes, that's the one. Okay, so it would be istama'a yastami'u istima'an. Okay, yes. Notice you probably forgot the ta. Okay, that's fine. Istama'a yastami'u istima'an. So sin, mim, and ain, number 8 is istama'a yastami'u istima'an. Example, istama'a ila kalamihi ay asgha ilayhi bintibahin. Meaning he listened attentively to his speech, i.e. he was inclined to him with attention and focus. Intibah, focus. Okay, so istama'a yastami'u istima'an. Next one we have is, what's this one? Ha, dal, and tha. Ha, dal, and tha. Number 4. Number 4. Okay, so there's all these different meanings. All this is based on context. So you have to see, to the best of your ability, how the verb has been used in the sentence, because there could be, you know, total different meaning. Look, to drop excrement. Okay, to bring forth, to originate. Okay, so you have to use. So we got ahdatha. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, ahdatha yuhdithu ihdathan. So that would be bab if'al. Bab if'al. Okay, so we have man ahdatha fi amrina hadha ma laysa minhu fahuwa raddun. So whosoever introduces something into this matter of ours, meaning fi dinina, in our religion, that which is not of it, then it is rejected. Fahuwa raddun. Okay, so ahdatha yuhdithu ihdathan. So this is a hadith, by the way. Didn't reference it, I forgot to. Okay. Next we have is Jim, Ha, and Lam, but we've got number 6. Okay, number 6. To pretend to know nothing, meaning to play dumb. Okay, this is Jim, ha, small ha, and Lam. So it can't be tajahala, no. Yes, that's a with a stretch with a line on the top. Yeah, that's the one. Tajahala, tajahala. Number 6, remember, was tafa'ala yatafa'alu tafa'ulan. So that's the one it is. Okay. Tajahala yatajahalu tajahulan. It means to feign ignorance, to put an act on, basically. To act stupid and ignorant. For example, tajahala shakhsu. The person feigned ignorance. أي تظاهر بالجهل. He made himself appear to be ignorant. أي أظهر أنه جاهل وليس به. Meaning he demonstrated himself to be ignorant or وليس به whilst he is not a jahil. Okay, so that is تجاهل يتجاهل تجاهلا. Okay, next we have is fa, jim and ra, number 7. Fa, jim and ra, number 7. Fa, jim and ra, number 7. Okay, so number 7, fa, jim and ra. So we've got infajara, infajara. Yes, so answers are coming in quick and fast. Okay. انفجر ينفجر انفجارا. انفجر ينفجر انفجارا. And obviously gives the meaning to burst forth, to explode. Okay. So an example here. فانفجرت منه اثنتا عشرة عينا. So gush forth from it 12 streams or rivers. Okay. Obviously this is when Musa alayhi salam struck his staff. Okay. So what came out from that strike, gush forth from it 12 streams. Okay, so infajarat. So number 7. So we're doing quite well. Okay, so here we've got ghain, ba, and ra. Ghain, ba, ra. We're looking for this one here. I know I've highlighted quite a few there, but we're looking for this one here, number 9. Okay, to be dust colored, to basically be dusty, to be covered in dust. Okay, so number 9. So ghain, ba, ra, number 9. What would that signify? Ghain, ba, and ra. Number 9. Okay. إغبر. Okay. Okay, that's right. So إغبر يغبر إغبرارا. إغبر يغبر إغبرارا. And it means to be dusty. So look, for example, إغبر الفراش. أي صار أغبر أي علاه الغبار. Meaning the bed became, the bed or mattress, whatever you want to call it, okay, became dusty. أي صار, it became أغبر, meaning dusty. In other words, there was dust upon it. أي علاه الغبار. Okay, dust over came in. Okay, so we have number 9 there. Now we have here ذال, kaf, and ra. So ذكر X. Okay, so what is that? To memorize, commit to memory, to learn, study one's assignment, one's lesson, to remember, to recall, keep in mind, know by heart something. So ذال, kaf, and ra, number 10. So we got it won't be tazkara, taz, yeah. There's no tha in this word, okay? So that's the word. It'll be, sorry, which one did we say? Uh, yeah. Oh, it's number 8 we're looking at. Number 8, sorry. Number 8. Okay. Is tazkara is right as well because I told you number 10, but what I've put on the actual PowerPoint is dal, the bab iftial one. Okay. So number 8 is bab iftial. Okay. Anybody realize what's happened to the ta here? What's happened to the ta here? Because number 8 is ifta'ala yafta'ilu ifti'alan. Okay, this actual slide actually I was going to mention a surf rule or morphological rule, like we mentioned in ittarra yattarru muttarrun, the dad and ra there of bab iftial mentioned the rule. Okay, so here basically iddakara yaddakiru iddikaran is actually was, let's see if it comes up. Well, we got the Quranic verse, وَادَّكَرَ بَعْدَ أُمَّةٍ. So this is talking about, the cupbearer who was released from the prison when who was obviously an inmate of Prophet Yusuf al-Islam. Obviously, Yusuf al-Islam was innocent, and there was the cupbearer, who obviously was the one who used to serve the king wine. He was released, and then obviously Yusuf al-Islam said to him, "Remember me, make mention of me to your obviously king." And then فَأَنْسَاهُ الشَّيْطَانُ ذِكْرَ رَبِّهِ. Shaitan made him forget. وَادَّكَرَ بَعْدَ أُمَّةٍ. And he remembered after a while. Ummah here obviously means nation, but it's metaphorically used to say, you know, it was quite after a bit of time. So وَادَّكَرَ بَعْدَ أُمَّةٍ, it says he remembered, he recalled. So number 8, if ta'ala pattern and istifal pattern means to remember. So he remembered after a while. Okay, quite a while. So what dakara? What's happened to the zal? Because the original letters are zal, kaf, and ra. So the rule here is basically, okay, I'll have to mention the rule. I don't think so. I'll put it up there. Okay, so iddakara. Let me just actually annotate it. Probably will be better. Okay, so the original of this word was is takara. If ta'ala, yeah, is takara. Okay, now that's quite a bit of a mouthful to say is takara because the original letters are zal, kaf, and ra. Okay, so if you just put that there, okay, in bab iftial, if the fa kalima, which is takara, is dal or zal, then you'll change into a dal, you'll change the ta of bab iftial into a dal and also do idgham into the zal which has changed into a dal. So that's why you said waddakara. So that's why if you look at this translation, you will say he remembered, and you're thinking waddakara, he remembered. I thought the root letters are zal, kaf, and ra. Yes, they are. But in bab iftial, if the fa kalima is takara, if ta'ala is zal, then you'll change that into a dal, and the ta you'll change into a dal and do the idgham, and it becomes waddakara. Everyone understand that? Do you understand that? Or it's pretty straightforward to understand, it's not hard. Okay. Remember the one we done before, ittarra, and quite a few of us were, it was a bit of a, it became a bit of a task to get the root letters, and then we mentioned it was dad and ra. There, ittarra, there the bab iftial, if the root letter is dad or sad, then the ta is changed to a ta. Ittarra. But this is a similar rule, but there's different things that's happening, okay, coming into play. That is, if the fa kalima is dal, then you'll change that into a dal, and the ta you'll do change to a dal, and you'll do idgham, and it becomes iddakara. Everyone okay with that? Yeah? Thumbs up or say yes, you've understood, or you haven't understood. It's all right. Yeah? Okay. I think it's 7:30 now as well. Okay, so inshallah next week, I'm gonna inshallah go into more into the verbs. Okay, so this was obviously 2 till 10 we've covered. Next week, I'll just give a bit of an indication. Let's just get rid of the annotation quickly. Okay, so next week, we're actually going to be covering this. I'll be explaining this whole thing to you about verbs. So, if you see here, okay, verbs in Arabic, so we can see here the AIU. Okay, there's quite a few possibilities in the AIU. I'll explain that, and then 2 till 10. But what we've covered so far is the Sahih pattern. So today we done fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'il, fa'ala yufa'ilu mufa'ala. So number 2, number 3, number 4. Okay. But next week we'll actually cover these definitions at the top. What is mithal, ajwaf, naqis, mahmuz, mudha'af, and how does that affect the sahih pattern? Okay. Because sometimes we might see in Hansware dictionary, for instance, we see ha ba, and it says number 4. Now, how are you going to put habba yahibbu under number 4? Are you going to say ahbaba yuhbibu ihbaban? No. When two letters of the same type, it comes under pattern of ahabba yuhibbu, it still is af'ala yuf'ilu, but you do idgham, and it ends up becoming this. So I'll be explaining this in more detail next week, but this is what's coming up. What I would suggest is in on your dashboard, if you look at this beforehand, okay, and familiarize yourself with this, and then you'll get a better understanding, inshallah, next week as well, what we're talking about. Okay, so that's enough for today, inshallah. We'll continue for next week. This will go on for a couple of more weeks. I hope you find it beneficial, and use the Telegram support group if you don't understand anything, and keep in touch through the Telegram support group. Put your questions there, inshallah, and I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. For now, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.